So I had a dream last night that one of my closest friends, whose name will be Jill for the sake of this video, she wanted to go on a girls' trip to a war-torn country in South America. I was asking her if this was a good idea because I'm sure that, there may be some type of travel advisory. Maybe we shouldn't be going there. And she convinced me that because hotels were so cheap and flights were so cheap, that this was the perfect time to go. And the next thing I know, we're there in that country. We're in a hotel and we're on an elevator. And we stop at one floor that's not our floor, and in walks one of my coworkers. And I said, what a weird coincidence that you're here too. And he seemed to say that my friend had paid for him to come as well. And in my dream, as soon as he said it, I realized that I helped pay for his trip too. My friend had sort of tricked me into paying for this coworker to come too. It was really odd. But he takes us to this room in the hotel where there was a banquet hall. And when we get in there, there are more coworkers. And one of my coworkers, I meet her. She has her whole family with her, her mom and dad and two of her sisters. And so I start talking to them, and I pick up on the fact that the mom has a southern accent. And I start asking her questions, and I said, oh, I love your accent. Can I ask you to say a few words, and I'm going to try to guess where you're from? And she became highly offended, and I said, no, I said, I really love your accent. I'm very interested in accents. I'd love to hear how you say these words. I'm just trying to figure out maybe where you come from, where your family's from. She continued to just get more and more offended. So I stopped talking about her accent and really was trying to figure out how to walk away from her. But I noticed she had brought along these dolls with her. They were about 3 feet tall, and each doll was a replica of someone in her family. And they were amazing. They were so lifelike and looked exactly like each member of the family that was there with her. But I noticed that her doll was wearing a mask, but none of the other dolls were. And I thought, well, I guess she made these dolls during the pandemic, but why is her doll the only one wearing a mask? And why is the doll wearing a mask to begin with? And I was about to ask her this, but I didn't want to offend her again, so I just eventually walked away from her. And then that dream morphed into another dream, but I was still in that country, but now all of those people were gone. My husband was there. We had a tent, and we had no food, no other supplies. And for some reason, we had decided we wanted to join the U.S. military, but there was sort of like a survival test we had to go through. And the U.S. military agreed that we could do that test in that country. So we're in sort of like a jungle-like setting. We just have a tent, and we're supposed to survive for a few days. And they didn't provide us with any food, so we're assuming we're supposed to be hunting, fishing, something. But there is an elephant, a baby elephant, that lives right around the tent. This baby elephant looks exactly like a full-grown elephant, except that it's just miniature. So it doesn't really look like a baby elephant, but it's just like a miniature adult elephant, if that makes sense. It's probably only about 2 feet tall. The elephant has a name. Its name is Mitzi. I don't know how we learned the elephant's name. We just knew that the elephant's name was Mitzi. And Mitzi wore clothing. So we began to have this debate, my husband and I, after a day or two when we're getting really hungry. All of our hunting efforts at that point had been futile. And we're starting to wonder, are we supposed to eat Mitzi? And so we began debating this, and we're talking about, okay, elephants, we don't even know what they taste like. I said elephants are probably endangered. It's probably illegal. And because this elephant has a name and wears clothes, it now feels more like a pet. I don't think we can do this. And neither one of us wanted to do it, but we were very confused if that was the actual test, if the military was testing to see if we would be dumb enough just to starve. And then I woke up.